Howdy, everybody out there. This is Rick Copple and say, let me close the door. Make sure I don't get any noises coming from outside there. And today we're going to be looking at Slackware. Yay. So far, looks like we got Peter's in the house so far. Hi, Peter. How you doing? I know sort of how you're doing, but yeah, Peter went through a little rough stage there for a while. Had sickness or something, but anyway. Yeah. So Peter's been saying a few things about Slackware. He's actually getting into Slackware pretty well, I think. He's actually installed some stuff on it, some flat packs, I think. That's a good idea, actually, to install flat packs and install a bunch of flat packs on it. If you hit this flat pack install, you're doing good. He's doing it the Slackware way too, where you have to install your dependencies, because the way Slackware works, for those of you who don't know, is that it doesn't automatically install your dependencies. You have to do a little research, find out what dependencies need to be installed with a particular piece of software you want to have on there. You gotta install the dependencies sometimes in the right order and that kind of thing. Then you can install the package. So yeah. So anyway, he says up here that he used Cfdisk, works well enough for basic partition. Oh, that's what I said. Never mind. He said, I have used Fdisk just fine in the past, but also enjoy using Cfdisk for my Slackware install. It worked well. Yeah, and I looked at looked at several different, Distro tube with Void, and Void same way. It gives you option using Fdisk or Cfdisk, and to do your partitioning. Except the only difference is Void, I think, puts it in the incursors installer, whereas Slackware has it outside the incursors installer, something like that. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're going to do Fdisk today, since nobody seemed to be doing that, and I'll do it. Yeah, it's fun. And also, for my brew today, sort of brewish, I guess. You consider brew, I don't know. But anyway, I've already drank most of it. Margarita here. A little bit of margarita. Just tad. But at any rate, so we got Peter's in the house, and that's our lone survivor, huh? Probably more will show up. They usually do later on when Nathan gets word out more to other people. Oh yeah, I need to go check that out. Yeah. So anyway, we need to get into this pretty quick and yeah, I would give you a history of this, but Leo's already done that. Leo and Dan, and they did a lot better job than I ever could. And so go check out the Linux user space video they did on Slackware to get it. And only history I'm going to give you is where the name came from, because it's kind of interesting a bit. So we'll go take a peek at that right away. Okay, you should be looking at my the frequently asked questions section of, well, that's not where I wanted to be, but anyway. Yeah, I'd check there to see if they had some there, actually. See if they had any information about that. This Slackware 15.0's release. It's just released, I think, about a week or two ago or so. Maybe 3 weeks ago. It's just real recent, like in February. Maybe that's February 3rd. It's a lot more than 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's about a month ago. A little over a month ago. And we have, says, it's been a long time. From what I heard, about 6 years actually since the last update. It had an update on Slackware. They kind of take their time slacking around, with it. So, but they had to get everything exactly perfect, and you just can't rush that. We were very happy to announce the availability of the new Slackware 15.0 stable release. There have been way too many changes to even begin to cover here. For our dedicated user base, suffice it to say, you'll find things modern but also familiar. Now, this is like one of the oldest, maybe the oldest, I don't know what's the oldest version in Void, Slackware, But this is like early 90s when Slackware first came on. As a matter of fact, so this section over here said it's one of the 5 distros that changed Linux. It's distribution which brought me and my many others to Linux in Linux early 90s days was oddly named Slackware. Patrick Volskerding, I'm not sure I'm pronounced that correctly. If I am not, forgive me, Patrick. Its founder picked the name from the Church of the Subgenius, a parody church that was popular in hacker circles in the 90s. Down here in Slackware, it says the name Slackware stems from the fact that the distribution started as a private site project with no intended commitment. Prevented from being taken too seriously at first, Volskerding gave it the humorous name which it stuck. Even after Slackware became it's small print here, even after Slackware became a serious project. So that's kind of where the name came from a bit. It's kind of interesting. But at any rate, it's official announcement, release notes. You can go to their webpage, which I've got in the show notes down below. And but anyway, you can go to official announcement, you can go to release notes, see all the releases, information on it. All that kind of stuff. Hey, Eris, how you doing? Good to see you too. Yeah, Peter's being somewhat modest about it all, I think. Actually, he's done pretty good overall. Dan apparently had some trouble with the bit construct. Hopefully, I won't have as much. Yeah, when I thought, well, it should be easier a virtual machine because you don't have all the complexities of installing it on a software on the hard drive. I installed on my laptop over here and got through it and did pretty good, but it took me 5 tries to get it right on the partitioning scheme. I kept putting in wrong. I have to start over, Anyway, now I'm advanced. So, yeah, so we're going to go, so that's the information. I'm going to give you their notes and you can download it. Let's see, where do you download the sucker at? Let's see. Yeah, I don't remember where to download this from. Well, this is downloaded to leave because I'm trying that out for my server experiment. I'll describe more of that later on. I've been making a server out of this mom's old computer, which is a Dell 3100. That's how old it is. You can check it out on the website to see how old it is and stuff like that. But yeah, so that download leave because it's supposed to run on old computers and it runs pretty well. It uses about 140 megabytes of memory. Pretty good for a desktop, huh? Uses an Lyman desktop on it. Yeah, so I might do a video on that someday, some point. Stay tuned. Anyway, let's see. Supports. Propaganda. Packages, curations. Get Slack. There it is. That's where I got it. Yeah. Go to Get Slack. And you go to mirroring guidelines. Oh yeah, you go to one of the mirrors. Go to the mirrors and go into these. And boy, yeah, this isn't exactly user friendly as intuitive. I can't even remember how I did it. How I got the thing down here. See, file tree. Oh, right there, Slackware ISO images. That's where I went. Then I just downloaded 15, which is down here at the bottom, boink, right there. So yeah, right click on it and download it. Go save as, save link as, or whatever your web browser has for that function. And it'll download it in there, which you can see I've already got it there, so I don't need to do it again, do I? Or actually, no, you click on that first. Oh yeah. You don't do that, because otherwise you just download a web page. So, click on the ISO. Then you have all this other stuff. You have your text, you have your ISO MD5, your ISO ASC, and this is the one you wanted right here to download, actually. Now you do right click and save as, and it should pop up with the ISO Slackware 15 install DVD 1, which I should have down here somewhere already. Somewhere over the rainbow. Slack 64-bit and Slack ISO. One of them must be one. I'm not sure why I reduced the name or what the name was different or something like that. So I'm not sure what the problem is or what the. But anyway, we have it in there somewhere. Maybe I want to download just mail. It's got a 1, so obviously I got it in there. I just don't see it. Oh, there it is, right there. Boy, I'm like half. I guess I had too much margarita or something today. Yeah. So anyway, there he goes. So I'll cancel out of this even because I already have it saved. And there you go. That's how I got there. So you go back. So where you go is you go to get. No, back. No, not back at the beginning. There's a lot of things to click through this. Get Slack. Then you go to the ISOs. How to do that? I don't know. Get Slack. Oh, you gotta hit get Slack twice, apparently. Maybe just change the same page. Anyway, you got it. You can go back over and work it. That's how I got it there anyway. You saw how I did it first time, and so yeah. So anyway, we will go over to number 3. Now here's a third attempt I did. I basically installed it on my laptop first time. Installed it on here once, on a VirtualBox once. Then I deleted it and I installed it on here because I wanted to do some more advanced with Fdisk. Make sure I could do it. I worked out all the details. Hopefully I remember how to do that. Since I'm not remembering much else tonight, apparently. And so here we have this. Now before we start it off, we want to go here to settings. Just give it a little something down here in display. Yeah, you can go here. You can increase the size so at least it's even more visible for y'all guys. Still keeps the same small screen, but since this is bigger, a bigger what do you call it? Screen. I mean, since it okay, back up here. Yeah, so anyway, it's got scaled. It's going to scale the thing bigger. It'll be the same size resolution is what the term I was looking for, but it'll be 150% max size instead of small screen you see when you first open up VirtualBox. Since this is an install, it just installs straight off. You don't get a chance to up your display or anything like that, unless maybe you know how to do that kind of thing with the boot options and stuff like that maybe. But anyway, yeah, this will make it bigger, so at least you can see it in full screen up more. But it'll have some other problems as you'll see later with it. So then you go to storage, and this is empty. So we'll connect Slackware DVD install to it. Now it's ready to go. So we'll start it and see what happens. What it happens. Okay, now this is if you need to pass extra parameters to kernel, enter them at the prompt below after the name of the kernel to boot. Huge.s or whatever. And anyway, you got this boot huge.s root dev as an example. So S1 is Linux partition you boot to, that kind of thing. Anyway, or you can just simply hit enter if you don't have any extra parameters you want to put on it, which in this case I do not. So I'll just boot and it'll boot up to automatically the huge kernel. They call it huge because it's got a lot of stuff in it apparently. Okay, now we come to this one, and it says if you're not using US keyboard, you may now load a different keyboard map. Well, we're using US keyboard, but just to show you how it works. You enter one here, and then it gives you options for keyboards. So if you want to, like, if you're in the UK, you could select that one. If you're in Scotland, I guess you select that too, I guess. And if you had France, if you were in France or something like that, you'd select that. So anyway, we're just leave ours on the US keyboard map. Now, and then you can type to make sure you got it right on there. So type howdy, folks. See, I got it right. Then you press 1 when you're done, and it goes on. Now you're at Slackware login, which you're going to log in as root. So, yeah. You have to read this carefully, it says. So, you will need one or more partitions of type Linux prepared. It is also recommended that you create a swap partition, type Linux swap or prior to installation. More information, run setup and read the help file. If you have low memory, you get some more information there on what to do there, which is basically you activate swap files once you get started so you have more memory. Once you have prepared the disk partitions for Linux, type setup to begin the installation process. So that's how that goes. So we go root. Now we have a choice between Fdisk or Cfdisk. Now, as I mentioned before to Peter, hi Steve, how goes? And so I mentioned before to Peter, so everybody I looked at on the from OBS to DT and all those other guys. Now DT's used Fdisk before. I've seen him explain it and how it works and stuff like that. But on this all installs use Cfdisk. So I was going to do some advanced partitioning tonight. See, advanced partitioning. So we're going to first we'll put Fdisk-L. That'll give us a list of our disk. So you see it's right there. Just right there. Disk dev SDA. It's a 40 gigabyte disk that I created for the swap file. I mean for the virtual disk. And boy, I gotta get some water here. So hold on a minute. There you go. All right, so yeah, so we got a 40 gig disk, and I had to make it bigger because I needed to have enough room to divide up the boot sectors and all the partitioning I'm going to do for you tonight. And we will get started. So we go Fdisk dev SDA. Now you're in your disk. Now anytime you need to, you can hit P to print out where you're at. And as you see when we start adding partitions, it'll right there below there the list, give you your list of partitions underneath the disk, the main disk. She shows basically the same information that showed up here pretty much. So and you also can get help by typing in. That's what I was going to say about the small screen, the small resolution screen, is the top of the list goes off the screen. That only will apply to one situation problem that you have. So if you see right here, we have add a new partition. This is one of the first things you want to do is add a new partition. So we go in. Now default is P, which is primary container, which he says you have 4 free ones there, right there. You look right there, right above partition, it says 4 free. Yeah, on an MBR disk, you can only create 4 free partitions, primary partitions, and 4 primary partitions. And so basically, if you want to do more, you have to do what we're going to complicate do tonight. So I'm going to make this complicated a little bit for us, at least somewhat complicated. So yeah, so let's see. So P to select default, just press enter, or you can put P, whichever one you want. And then it automatically defaults to 1. If you press enter again, it just goes in sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many partitions you have. Now, first sector that's going to be on it calculates these partitions by sectors. I'm not going to get into what a sector is and all that kind of stuff, but it's basically your disk divided into bytes, partitions, and sectors, and all this kind of stuff. So it's how many sectors on the disk of however big blocks are, that kind of thing. I don't remember how many blocks are in the sector, all that kind of stuff, but anyway. So you start on a sector of disk, which is physical location on the hard disk. And so the default starting point is 2048. What if one of these other 2000? Well, tough beans, I guess, so on that part. So anyway, it defaults automatically to the next available spot where you can start. So to be efficient with it, you want to start your first partition at the beginning. Makes sense? Then it's going to ask you for the last sector. Now this is the interesting part because it you could do the math and calculate out how many bytes you want and what size you want, and then calculate out what the last partition would be. But we don't need to do that because we have a simpler way to do it that they give us. So we're going to make this 32 megabyte partition. Now it's not much, but you'll see in a minute why I did that. Put in at it. Oh yeah, you got to put a plus before that. I think you have to put a plus, but I'm not sure about that because you can plus or minus size. I'm not sure. I don't remember what situation is you use a minus for. All I've ever seen is used is plus. But I'm sure you find that out. So you put in 32 megabytes. And it creates a partition 1 of type Linux and of size 32 megabytes. Simple, huh? Okay, but this isn't going to be just a Linux partition here that we're going to do. It's going to be a boot partition. We're creating a separate partition boot. Now, MBR, you can do that. You don't have to do that. You can put it all in root or all in one big partition, Linux partition. But yeah, you can do that if you want to, which is what we're going to do because we need as many partitions as we can get for this experiment here. Okay, so to do that, tap T. If you're confused, don't remember what that is, so hit M there for M for help. And you'll see right G there. T, change partition type. So do that. Now it's automatically selected partition 1. If you have more than one partition, it'll ask you which one you want to select. Alright, so now what type do you put in there? Well, you can hit L to list all. So we put L in there. Now here again is our problem. You won't have this problem on a regular machine because you won't run off the screen on you probably like it does for this slow resolution thing. But anyway, 4, if I remember, has the right partition types to put in. If you get this wrong, you can go back and do it over again. Just keep hitting T and trying in things until you get the right one. And I got the right one. That's a grub boot menu thing there, but it's called FAT16, and it's got less than 32 megabytes. It says that's why I put 32 megabytes partition there. But I don't know if that's actually what it means, but just been a safe time. It worked before, so I'm going to do it again. So yeah, I don't know what it'd do if you put 300 megabytes or partition in there, but probably just, I don't know what it does with that. But anyway, I think what it is that to make that FAT16, you can only go up to 32 megabyte partition. Yeah, I think that's what it is. FAT16 was 32 megabyte, but that's boot grub menu. If you can't really see it up there because it's up here above there. So, yeah, that's a bad thing about this small screen. So, yeah. So anyway, we got the boot partition in place. Now we got to do one other thing for it. That is, we got to make it bootable. Alright, so now that's another thing. If you just were to hit the help again, it's up there because what it is, it's A, just lowercase a, make it bootable. And it says the bootable flag on partition 1 is enabled now. So now if we hit P, see we have SD1 for first partition, boot, start, in sectors, size 32 megs, and the type 4 ID, which should be boot grub, I think. I hope. That's what it was last time, at least, when I tried on another machine. So, that's how you do that. And this will be our this will be our dedicated booting sector. So, I could probably make that however I want, but then I have to use different, wouldn't be able to use this FAT16, I have to use FAT32 or something like that. Alright, so now we're going to start another partition. We'll hit it in again. And you see it's another primary partition. Select that, P. And we're going to default to number 2. Partition number 2. Okay, and it sets us in at the end of the last one we did with sectors where you start the next sector. And then the last sector, now this is going to be a swap file. So I'm going to make this 4 gigs plus 4G, and we created a partition to type Linux and size 4 gigs. Now we have to change the type on that. Now this type actually is in the list, so we hit T for type, default. Yeah, we're going to fix number 2 there. See, now it gives you option where you want here, 1 or 2, because you got 2 partitions. So I know which one you're talking about. So then you can hit list all. And you'll see right up here 32. Oh, yeah, 32 is 83 is a Linux, and 82 is swap. So it is 82, and it lists it as Linux swap type. Now you've got that partition set, right? Here's our partition list. And now here's what I'm going to do, because you wouldn't normally do this most things. You usually set one partition for swap, usually, most of the time. You can in certain advanced commercial type things where they may have like 2 disks and they set 2 swap files and 2 separate disks, and they combine and work together, and they makes it faster, that kind of thing. So, but normally wouldn't do this for a small disk like 40 gigabyte disk like this, but we're going to do it for this purpose, for our purposes, because I want to build up enough partitions that we can do this experiment with. Okay, so we're going to create another swap partition here. All right, default primary, and 3, and start, and we're going to do plus 4 gigabytes, and we're going to set type for 82. Okay, out of range. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. It's default. This is the partition type. Okay, now we can do 82. And we made that for Linux swap now. Okay, now the next partition will not be a primary partition. You can make it one if you only had 4 partitions and you want to make a primary partition. You have to specifically put P in there, because the next one, create the next one, it's going to want to create an extended partition. Default's T. So you can put P in there if you have one more partition to make, and that's all you're going to make is 4 partitions on an MBR disk, because that's the most you can have on an MBR disk. But if you want more partitions on MBR disk, you can do it. But you have to enter an extended partition. So we're going to default to extended partition, because we don't have any root or home yet to put this on. And so first sector of this is that. Now this takes the maximum size of the rest of the disk. So what this extended partition does, it creates a container, so to speak, for the logical partitions it's going to put inside of it. So yeah, I didn't understand that at first, and I just made it a real small 1 gig partition, or one small partition, and then I want to make this real small. I don't want to fit one thing, and then I didn't think more, but I had 5 gigs of space left on that stuff, so it's weird. So yeah, so we're going to take the whole rest of the disk for this extended partition. It's 4th partition. It's all the partition you have on there anyway. So there you go. Create a new partition 4 of type extended and of size 32 gigabytes. Hey, you have 2 swap. Yes, I'm putting it on here for a reason, so I can have enough things to throw on here so that you can see what I'm going to do here, because I'm going to create a extended partition. I'm going to create 2 logical partitions where we'll put our root directory and our home directory. Yeah, and I could have put one for user or OPT or whatever, something like that, but I decided to just put 2 swaps. Some people do use 2 swaps, but not normally on a 40 gigabyte disk. But like you want to have one swap file on one disk, you had another disk you had a home directory on, you can put a swap file on that disk, and you combine them into one thing like this. So anyway, so we have this. We're going to create a new disk. Now when we create a new disk, it's going to go to a logical partition. So it didn't even ask you what you wanted. It just says all you can do here is logical partitions. So all primary partitions are in use, it says. Adding logical partition 5. And the first sector is default to that. And then you can tell how big you want it to be. So if you wanted a root directory, I'm going to say we'll make it 20 gigs just to make sure we have enough room for everything. So that's that. So we created a new partition 5 of type Linux and size 20 gigabytes. Because this is just, I mean, if you were wanting to create an actual disk with your home directory on it and everything, you want a bigger home directory one. I'm going to put on this puppy. But this is just a virtual thing machine. I'm going to delete it as soon as I'm done with it. So, or at some point, I'm not going to put much in the home, if anything. So I don't really need a big home directory. So, at any rate, we give this 20 gigabytes. And that type of Linux is defaults to type of Linux. So yeah, that's what I want to do is type of Linux on this particular one. You have to have at least one of those. This is going to be our root partition we're going to use. And we're going to use N for one more. Creates logical partition 6 first. We're going to take the rest of the whole thing, so we'll just hit enter again. And create 12 gigabytes for our home directory we're going to use. And that's also Linux type, and that's fine. So now we're done pretty much. There's our partitions. You can see we got a SD1, SD2, SD3, SD4. SD4 is an extended partition, which covers the rest of the disk, and then SD5 and 6 are within the extended partition. And so yeah, there you go. That's how that works. Now we're done. So we'll write this out. You want to be careful on a real machine. You want to be careful because you could destroy your data. So if you have anything you want to save on this disk before you hit write, you might want to quit and come back and redo it and then set up that. So we'll write it out. And we're done now. The one problem I found is on my laptop when I'm trying to install Slackware on there. When I first put in the Cfdisk, because I did a Cfdisk there, is it didn't tell me what MBR or it didn't have the first screen that did on OBT where it popped up on there and said, what do you want to do on MBR or GPT type setup? And I wanted MBR, so I want to make sure I was on MBR or that kind of thing, or maybe it's on MBR and virtual machine wanted to use GPT just for fun of it. Could have done that in this one, and you can use GPT on anything, create things on it and things like that. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, I didn't show that, so I had to come back and use Fdisk to create the disk. Yeah, I didn't show that, did I? Fdisk dev SDA. Now M. And it's right down here in the bottom here. Create a new label. So you create GPT partition, create a DOS partition table, which is MBR. So I had to put O in there to make sure I had a DOS partition table. Or you can put G to create a GPT partition table. I can't remember if I did that on this version of Slackware or Void, because Void has the same situation. So quit. And we're ready to roll up with setup. Roll up with setup? That sounds weird. Okay. Rhymer. And it's scanning my system. Now we're here at the Incursors installation for Slackware. See if there's any questions up here or stuff. Adam? Hey Adam, how you doing today? Eris is here, Adam's here, Peter's here, Steve's here. Looks like we got several of us in here now. Good. What's up, everybody? Yeah, so anyway, we read the Slackware setup help file if you want to do that. And it's just gives you a little stuff here. You can go down through here and read all sorts of stuff about it. We're going to skip that for now. We've already mapped we're using a US keyboard, and we want to use a US keyboard since I'm in the US. That makes sense, right? So I'm not going to do that, but if you want to remap your keyboard. Now the other instructions you saw at the middle of that was just if you had low memory and you want to make sure you had enough memory so you'd add a swap file and you want to turn on the swap file. So this is gonna do the make swap partition. It's going to do the make swap thing to it. And I know I'm very technical here. Linux swap partitions, we got 2 of them. We said just so we could add extra enough to do what we wanted to do here. And then it'll put them in your fstab file, stab file. Well, I think it's fstab file. So that's what my mind always parses it to say, but it's fstab file. That's what it is. So now it says you're going to do that. You want to check bad block class formatting in your swap partition. No, I don't want to, so I'm going to say no. And then it doesn't. And there's the defaults that's added into the fstab file. Fstab file. Okay. Yeah. So there you go with that. Then we go, okay, now next thing it's going to do is once you select your root partition. Remember what our root partition was, number 5, right? It's the next one, 20 gig drive. 20 gigabyte partition for F5. So we just select it. You see it says right up here, root is what it selects. So you select whichever root. If I wanted to select the other one for root, I could do that. But I'm going to select this one. And you get to just, you're going to check for bad blocks. No, so we're just going to format, quick format with no bad block checking. And it tells you what kind of formatting you want to do. You want to do ext4 or ButterFS, or think going down the ways you can get into some, well, maybe not. Maybe it's all selection of general file system. Yeah. That one. Butterfs, F2FS, XFS. There's all these different ones, but we're just gonna stick with standard XT, EXT4. EXT4, I don't want to get all this stuff weird. So now it says in use. So now you got to tell you what you want to do with the rest of your partitions. So if you had more partitions, you set them up and you tell where you want them to mount to. Now, we could mount this one to, we're going to do formatting, yep, no blah blah, just like the other ones, ext, yep, same thing. Now, where do we want to mount this to? Home. Yeah, home's where the heart is. So we're going to go home, and that will format that so it mounts on home in the ftab file, fstab file. Okay. And you got that there. Now you hit OK. And partitions type FAT or NTFS coming in. Now this is a partition that we created, the bootable partition. We created its FAT file. So where it says, do you want to do that? Partitions are visible from Linux? No, because this is, I don't really need to see boot. And so we'll leave it there. So we have installed from a Slackware CD or DVD. Now this is the source media section, which is our USB, our quote USB, CD, DVD, whatever you call. Now this works the same whether it's on hardware or Slackware or VMware. And so, yeah, so I have not selected this. I have not tried to select the same time, so I don't know what to do, but I know this works. You go there and then you hit auto again for auto, and it scans it for it, it finds it, and says, yay, it's done. So it goes on. Next page is base Linux system. This is all the stuff you're going to install on your computer. And we're going to have various applications do not need X. Well, yeah, so it's got that. Program, we're not going to do any programming on this machine today, so we'll take that one off. We're not going to use Emacs. At least I'm not. I don't know much about Emacs to begin with, so I'd have to learn, but I'm not. This is just a temporary installation, so yeah, you get your fact list, how-to documentation that you can add. I don't really need that for this purposes. Now we got Linux kernel source. Leave that there. KDE Plasma desktop. Well, that's where, do we want KDE Plasma desktop or do we want XFCE? Those are the two desktops it has here, as well as some window managers you can throw in there too. We'll leave KDE on here so you can see what a KDE looks like, I guess. And, I mean, everybody knows what KDE Plasma Desktop default looks like, but we'll do that anyway. System library needed by KDE Gnome, yeah, we want those. Networking, yeah. Text type settings, sure. Script languages, probably don't need them, but I'll leave them there for now. X Windows system, yep. X application, yep. The XFCE desktop, we're going to take that off since we aren't going to use it. And games. We aren't going to play games on the system, so we're going to take that off too. So it's just to shrink the install time a bit more. Okay, and once you got all down, you hit OK. Now I know OBT went to full install everything, 50 gigabyte software recommended. And that basically installs out of full, I think installs all the stuff you just selected and deselected. Not all the stuff you deselected, but the stuff you selected. But this is a better, easier thing, because what this does is it gives you these blocks of blue things that pop up and keep popping up all over the place for each package it installs. But I like this better because it's more Linuxy looking, I guess you can say. So we'll go with that. Terse. See, and it installs one line at a time. It just shows you one line for each thing. It installs pretty much like you normally see for most Linux distributions, app files, all that kind of stuff. So, cholesterol free development desktop. Is that one you wanted? Sorry. Yeah, it's XFC. Yeah. I picked Kitty. I've got the XFC on the other one though. If you want to check it out later on. I mean, it looks very much like an XFC desktop, so you can take a peek at it if you want to. But yeah, cholesterol free. I'm not sure where they got that from, but so anyway, it's installing basis now, and you have to wait for it to run through all the stuff. So normally I have stuff I want to talk about during this time. I really don't have anything specific issue-wise or thing to chat about the installs stuff, but what do y'all guys think about it, huh? Yeah, so it's installing something now. We got several more things to go through on this. Let's see. Peter says, "Oh, back. Oh, wife came home, wanted to talk. Did not get a chance to say I would be away." Okay, so you're back, huh? And anybody else have any questions or thoughts about the installation process thus far? Aside from me doing weird things like putting 2 gigabytes in. How's MX? MX is doing pretty good actually. I'm enjoying it. I had that Bluetooth issue for a while, but then when I installed the later 5.16 kernel, it popped right in. Haven't had any more issues with it since then either. I actually even found out how to install the what to plug in the file on both systems, on this one and my Peppermint desktop laptop over here, into PEV controls config file and your pulse audio config file. And I found out it's 2 commands or 2 lines you put in there for modules you load. And now every time I turn on my Bluetooth speakers, it automatically defaults back to them like I set it for. Wonder how Neptune did that, because Neptune had it set up that way already out of the box. Peter says, I started with Plasma on Slackware, but kept having issues with the wallet. So switched to XFC. Both are great Ds anyway. That's true. Steve says, yes, you can start from the beginning. But okay, we'll crash it all up and we'll go start back. It's only been 45 minutes. Actually, and so far I've done pretty good, but I still have some more stuff to go through on it. So you need to sharpen your pencil, Steve, and get it back up in order and do it again. That's the nice thing about these. Steve, they record these things on YouTube. You can go back and see what you missed and sharpen your pencil again and do it again. Yeah, it takes a while to install this stuff, but I think I got it to where it's pretty decent time-wise. So, yeah, at least is one thing about this, I think, I think if I'm not, Peter might know this for sure, but I think it also will, updates as it goes or something. Updates current packages and stuff as it's doing all this installation. Or he goes out on the net and gets the packages, downloads them, and upgrades them that way? Or does it upgrade them from the ISO, which is pretty big actually? Being this is 15.15 they just put out about a month ago, it probably was pretty much updated as this. I won't have to do a whole lot of updates for it. Yeah. So many K packages, Eric says. Yeah, like one or two, something like that. One or two packages. And Steve says, ugh, Peter, you probably need that Pam package. I always forget the exact name. Pam. Oh, for the wallet? It's possible. Yeah, I don't know about the wallet thing, but I think I installed KDE Plasma on this laptop plus SFC, both of them. I installed both of them on this laptop over here. So I'm trying to remember. I counted the wallet not too long ago, but I think I just clicked the easier option and it went away and I never saw it again. Something like that. Because it wants you to either use a GPG code, like a key code, or you want to set up a key ahead of time for it, or it has this other option where it does some things. I don't think it reaches. Peter says, I don't think it reaches out during install rather than use ISO. That's what I was thinking, yeah, because it's a pretty big ISO. It's about 3 gigs ISO that they install in here. Biggest one I've had was one I did, I think Void. What was it, like 9 gig ISO or something like that? Yeah, that I got a huge ISO for some reason. I'm not sure why. Big ISOs all over the place. This has a huge kernel, so yeah. Not Eric's Wondering Toolkit. Eric isn't here to defend himself, apparently, so it's going to say that. Yeah. Terminal widget. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like this is like it started out as this private thing. But some distros do, there's a distro. The have to remember which way it goes, Sentient or Salient OS. One of them's Arch, one of them's a Debian distro. I think it's Sentient, isn't it? It's a Debian distro, if I remember right. Salient is Arch distro, which it started out with this guy who wanted to make a system for himself so he could, so he created his own distro for himself pretty much. So other people wanted to try it, so they tried it, they liked it. They say no, you got other people saying, you need to put this out there for everybody else. So he eventually did, and there you go. Okay, installing package series T. We're up to T now, yay. So yeah, it must be somewhat what this was. The guy created his own distro for himself for his own private use, and then eventually they got word got around he had it. They stuck it out, and they say, boom, he's got a distro on his hands. Yeah. So, yep. That's how these things start sometimes. And nobody takes it seriously, so we call it Slackware. So nobody take him seriously about it. Apparently people did take him seriously because it's still going after 30 years by now, I guess. They're a little over 30 years ago when it started. Early 90s. I'm not sure exactly what year it started in, but early 90s, so it's about 30 years old or more. But I remember when I was 30, I thought I was pretty old back then. I'm 60 almost. I'm 61. I'll be 62 this year when July rolls around. July 16th. But it's still a ways off, so I'll have some more time being 61 years old. Salient OS Arch based from Silent Robot. Yeah. Salient. That's why I'm correct my assessment, or remembering which one goes where. Salient OS goes to Arch, and Sentient OS goes to Debian, I believe. And in the past I was confused. I confused people because I'd say Sentient when I spelled out Sentient when I meant Salient. They go, but I thought that distro was dead. No. So, see where we're at now. We're cooking away X. I'm assuming that those X stuffs are putting in all the. Oh, we're ready to configure stuff. Now we're configuring. Yay! We're done loading all the stuff on there. We're making directories. We're doing the caching of fonts. And now we have something to do again. Now it's wanting to know if I want to make a insert USB flash memory stick and then press enter to create a boot stick. Or an existing contents USB stick will be erased. Do I want to do that? Nope, probably not now. But if you want to make a backup boot stick so you can boot up into your system after that, but you can do the same time. You can create your own boot stick system or whatever. So we're going to go skip. Okay, we're going to skip this for now. Then we have this install Lilo. Linux loader is a generic boot loader. There's a simple installation which tries to automatically set up Lilo to boot Linux. That's one of the problems I had. I got this part. Hey, Lilo, it wouldn't boot up. It wouldn't create the boot thing for my laptop over there. Too old or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what the problem was. So I tried Expert and I skipped it and tried to install Grub. I failed one time because I didn't do it right or something like that in the board system. So I finally got it. Fifth try is always a charm for me. I got it right eventually. So we're going to skip this. I mean, I did this Lilo thing on one installation that I have already erased and all that kind of stuff by now. But so I know that it works. It works on standard, but we don't have exactly a standard setup here either. So might work, might not, but we're not going to test it out. So I think it's automatic. You want a little more refined thing. So we're going to skip this. We're going to install Lilo. We're going to install Grub later on, like OBT did. And so now, I want to know if we want to allow to cut and paste text on your virtual consoles using a mouse. Sure, why not? Would you like to configure your network? Yes. Now, I did it on the laptop. It pretty much went through the process. It found my whatever you call it, the file system that allows you to your IP name for your host, which in my case is Copple fam. Fam Copple 1 and 2. I can't remember now which it is. I think it's Copple fam. Anyway, it's found it and gave me put in key and worked just fine. This is since it's on a virtual machine, thinks it's on a network Ethernet cable, which it isn't, but it is. It thinks it is. So now we get in our host name. It's not the domain name of your system, the work group type thing, but it's your Copple. I'm going to put Copple for my computer name for purposes you'll soon understand. Anyway, that's my computer name is Copple. Okay. Now let's enter a domain name for Copple. And default one for that is work groups. Work groups. And some advanced networking steps require a valid VLAN ID in order to connect to the network. Do you wish to configure a valid VLAN ID now? No, I do not. So, I'm not even really sure what a valid VLAN is, and so since it says don't select it, and it hasn't failed me yet, so Network manager. Now this is how you set up your network. Now you have a lot of options here. View. And we're going to allow it to auto configure your network using network manager. That's the easiest one. It's one of the defaults to. And so you just hit enter and it goes on and selects it. Read all the stuff up here if you want, and it tells you all the information about it. And yeah. Okay, now your network system is now configured to use Network Manager for wired and wireless network management. Set up wireless networks and view stats as a network management control panel widget to your desktop. Is this correct? Press yes to confirm, no to abandon. Yes, we want it to appear on our desktop. And setting the setup based network configuration is complete. Yay. Now, here's some. This confused me first time I ran across it. It wants me to confirm my startup settings to run out. Or I thought they were programs when I started clicking on them. And but no, what these are is they're actual services that it can run. So yes, network, Apple Talk, file print servers, jobs, schedule jobs for later. Yeah, I'm going to take the defaults. Bind, network domain name server, nope. Cups, I'm going to start cups. If I install printer stuff, I want cups on there. I don't think I'm going to do it now though because I don't really want to. If I was installing it for a real computer, I would. Because I have need of printing. Printing is my need. And then you got this other DHCP, DNS servers. Yeah, you can do Apache web servers. And you can do database server, network file, the network file system daemons, and the network time server. I think I need that. Open DAP server, open VLPN daemon, and PCMAA card bus card services, postfix mail server, and DNS daemons, Samba server. If you want a Samba server, click there, and SASL authentication server, and monitoring daemon, and net. This is logging utilities. This automatic station. And we have our SSHD secure shell daemon already selected. That's the options you got there. So I'm going to take all those defaults pretty much. Would you like to try some custom screen fonts? Not really. I'll show you what they are, what it looks like. Basically, try these out apparently. I really don't. If I knew what they were exactly, I'd do. But it said this doesn't give me enough information to tell me what they are. Agratar, Sir, Good, Lat 2. I don't know sort of what that one is. Mick, Mini Sir. I don't know. It's about what I don't know is how you install any of these. If you want to install them or what. So, not really sure what the purpose of that is. So we cancel that. So now we set up our hardware clock. We're going to set up. You set the local time, or you can set it to UTC time. Set UTC time, and then you want to know what time zone we're in. Which I'm in Mountain Time Zone down here. Whoops. Mountain Gandalf. Yeah, so you do that. Now here, this is when I'm like, what do I do here? Because I really don't know any of these programs, so it doesn't really matter which one I choose. I could hit cancel, I suppose, but we'll just install Vim because I know Vim best out of them. At least I know how to get in and out, but I don't know how to enter stuff and things like that very much. I know you use I and :I and :Q to quit and stuff like that. Crazy. So anyway, now here's where I hit the thing and it basically what you're doing here is you select the window manager used with the X window system. So you can do that, or you can hit the cholesterol-free version down there, which we don't even have cholesterol-free installed on here, so that's problematic. But yeah, you got Fluxbox window manager, your black box window manager, window maker, your floating virtual window manager. I remember doing I have an actual video on that I did before in the Arca Linux floating window virtual. Yeah, they don't really have a thing for the F, which is why F question mark is there. I always decided to call it floating virtual window manager because it was floating virtual window manager. So that's what I call it. So Tita tab window manager, motif window manager. So we're in. See, it doesn't even have cholesterol free in here because we didn't select another thing. They want to confuse people. So we're going to go with the Plasma Desktop window manager. Okay, there's currently no password set on system administrator. Cal, root. It's recommended you set one now so that it is active the first time the machine is rebooted. Especially important if you're using a network-enabled kernel and the machine is on the internet-connected LAN. Would like to set a password? Why, yes, sure. Let's do that. So, we set a password. Whoops. So just we set that up. So we hit enter and continue on. System configuration is complete. We now reboot your system. Yay! But not yet. Not yet. We don't get to reboot yet. Hit OK. Go down here to now. You just say E, you go to any of these helps. Or you go A to add, or you can go T to target, or you can go I to install, or E to exit. Or you can just use your up arrow and down arrows move around, whichever one you want to do. So A for exit for Slackware. That's going to, of course, you think is going to make ask some more questions. Please remove the installation disk. This is where you do it if you had a hard drive, you're on a real computer. Remove your USB at that point. Now, you got some options here. You can go to shell, reboot, power off. So then most people probably, especially if I already installed Lilo, that kind of thing, just go to reboot. But I don't have that option yet, do I? So we're in a shell, which is what is if you watch Toby T, that's what he went to. Now he has some stuff to do here. So we're in root on the system so far. Now I tried X-Render, I think, on this to see if I could set up the see 18 1680, yeah, 1680 by 1050. Yes, I didn't have any such problem, but then I thought, well, maybe I just need pseudo permit, so I've tried that. Still the same problem. So obviously Xrender is one of the things installed here. I can install it if I had a package manager, that kind of thing, which I think is a package pack slack or slack package update. And let's see, it's one note I didn't write down on here. I'm trying to remember exactly how I saw this. Install pack slack. Let's see. Hi, LQ. Larry, how's it going, Larry? Yeah, so I'm trying to remember what I'll put it down here somewhere, but I don't remember. Oh, Slack package, yeah. So I wrote that last time though. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember now. Then you have to do Slack package, install. Am I on the right track there, guys? Yeah, you have to set mirrors and stuff for that, so you can use Slack package. It's a Slackware or something like that. Forgot to write that one down. So, Peter, help me out here. What's the word one to install? To install the grub menu. Grub. Install grub. Grub. Oh, I think it's just. On the right track, I think. Oh yeah, that I remember. Remember how it goes. Grub install in dev SDA. And we're going to install grub on 1, since that's our boot directory from our configuration of partitions. Still says we need to do more. Okay, I need to install grub on here somehow. It's BIOS. BIOS. Let's see, I never installed grub directly. IT with PC. Grub customizer. Oh, you're a lot of help. Let's see. I know it was something like this. It's like package. Now, grub should already be installed on here, right? So what we really need to do is grub update or something like that. It's not there. Okay, well, it says on the right track with the grub install. And just, let's see. Okay, what you do? A big, long thing, huh? Okay, this helps with help you. Oh yeah, I think you put a E or minus C. I think it's E if I remember correctly. And something like that. So okay, let's do this. And more. Okay, so now we got, let's see. And directory. Modules. Grab install. Also install device. That's what it did. Oh, yeah, that's right. Now I know what I'm doing wrong. Of course. You don't list the particular partition you install it on. You list the whole drive. Duh. So much time to do. I'm not, I don't know what I had. This should be a. Apparently, I didn't put it as a right type on the right type on that one. You know, unless it's bootable, I didn't put the right type on it. It worked last time, and why it didn't work this time? This is why I had to start over in this situation. Well, I don't know why it's not there. Must have took some off that I didn't take off last time on the program installation. Before. Let's see. What is it we did there? See any wisdom from it? Howdy, Nathan. You always seem to come in when I'm in the middle of problems, don't you? See true? Oh yeah, see true. No, yeah, no. No, I'll see true later, I think. Let me see. Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, I think you're right there, Larry. See true. I'll try that and see if that works. And then we did the source. Yeah, I don't think it worked. Try and see. Oh, it worked. Because I actually did need to go see truth, but usually, Slackware, when you put in the extended profile, it gives you some weird quote from somebody. Didn't do that this time. So I wasn't sure I was in the right spot. But apparently so. Okay, so with that done, we can make our config file in the boot sector. But before we do that, we want to also go and edit the scrub file here in etc slash default slash scrub. No extensions or nothing. So what you need to do here, you need to actually enter in some stuff here. And what this will do is if you want to use a different kernel, which we'll show it when we get to that part, and you want to boot into a different kernel and stuff like that, you want to stay on that kernel, this is how I do it. Now the OBT showed editing one of these things. I think the default, yeah, the default there. So editing is the position of where the kernel that you're wanting to install to falls in the grub file. Of course, you need to see that to know, so that's why I did it after this. He didn't do it this part. I'm going to do a simpler way for me, at least. That's enter in a couple of new things. So we're going to grub default. All uppercase, you see here. Equals saved. It's all lowercase, apparently. And now to make this actually work, you've also got to enter one other thing in here. That's grub save default equals true. So in other words, every time when you go in there, it's going to go to the last one you went to before. It's going to save the word which one you entered last time. That's how I'd do it if I was doing this, which I am right now. So And here you can also add in, say, it gives 10 seconds time count for timeout before it goes on. So you can change that to whatever you want, 0, 1. If you go 0, then the menu's hidden, so you can't pick anything. So sucks on that. So then anyway, you have grub timeout. Some people like it 5 seconds, some people like 20. Or if you put a -1 there, then it just defaults to nothing. I mean, it defaults to where it pops up the menu, and it stays there forever until you hit something or do something to it, whichever way you want it to do. So we're going to do Control S to save it and Control X to get out, and we're ready to do the grub make config on it. Grub make config /o boot grub config, just like that. When you hit that, it'll go tell you didn't do it right. Oh, unrecognized option. I put a big 0 there instead of O. My bad. It's gotta have lowercase O there. There, it starts making the file there, and that's done. It takes information from the grub config file that we were just in and puts it on the boot sector and the proper stuff that's got to have for all that stuff to work. So that's why you want to edit that file, not the grub config directly there in the boot sector. Okay. Root Slackware. Root at Slackware. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a user here because we need a user for ourselves. So I'm going to create a user for Rick. Add user Rick. And default is that's default. Yeah, default's an XUID, unique identifier number. So whatever that is. Use number ID. Initial group users. Yeah, why not? And then we have any other groups you want to add to the group. Press the up arrow. It gives all the groups that you're currently in. It's going to stick you in. Of course, we want wheel there, don't we? Yeah. So there's my home directory. Yep, that's good. Shell bash bin. Yep. Expiration date. Never. So if you want to bail out, hit Control C. Otherwise, press enter and go ahead and make the account. Why not? Changing finger information for Rick. So this is where you enter your full name if you want to enter the full name for yourself, or you can just leave it blank, whatever, and you can tell what office you're in if you're in a company or something. Office phone number, home phone number. We'll leave all those blank. And here's where you enter password. And we successfully added in. And so that's complete with the groups and everything. CVD groups. Now remember wheel, right down there, wheel, which gives us pseudo privileges once we added the pseudo file to make it available. But to do that, you'd enter in B sudo. That'd be editing your, but I don't know how to use Vim that well, and that's probably one of the defaults too, so I'm just going to go ahead and enter nano anyway, which as long as you're careful, you're okay. I'm just going to remove one comment, and that's it, pretty much, so now I'm going to destroy the world. Whoa. Let's see. What bottom am I going to edit now? Yeah, I was going to edit the sudo file, that's right. Etc. sudo. Oh, didn't think that looked right. Sudo words. There I am. Except so your sudo. Oh, no, where? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just, that's just warning saying it's meant to be on root. I thought maybe I had a sudo, but then I am in root, so I'm going to have to do that. So anyway, what I do is go down till I see there's root, so it's right after that. And you want to remove this one that says wheel all, not the one that says no password. So you delete that, activate that, and then we save it, exit, and we're ready to roll. I'm speaking sudoers. So you've got a sudo file, you've created a user. We've done that with that. So yeah, now we need to do mirrors and update our packages. So we're going to do that next. Let's see. Yeah, so nano Slack, oops, packages, mirrors. It's plural or not plural? I'll try plural first. Yes, it says plural, yay. So now go down here. Go down, because America's at the bottom, it's like the last one. United States. Oh, hold on here. Because if you go too far, you go into the wrong mirror list. Yeah, here we are. See, it's like our current mirror list. This is what we want in the United States, the mirror list up here. Yeah, you have to be careful that you don't, unless you install the Slackware current, you want the mirror list, but if you didn't, you want the mirror list up there. Excuse me, I got water down my windpipe. Okay. So I think Indiana's pretty close to me, and that's pretty good, I guess. Just want to delete that out. And now we got a mirror list. That didn't help me, did it? So I can get some more water down there. Hopefully I won't do it again. Hate it when that happens. Anyway, we have a mirror list. And so we set that mirror. And we can save that. And exit. Everybody get that? Let's see. Yellow snow, no. Canary with her privileges in yellow snow. In yellow snow. Okay, so now that you updated the mirror list, you need to do Slack package update your GPG key. Just like that. I think that's it. FD, yep. And yes. And the key's been installed, and it was office address. Okay, I didn't like the choice of things there apparently. Alright, I guess I'll go ahead and select a different one, because that one doesn't seem to work too well for it. So we'll go back up here. We'll go down. We'll pre-comment that one. Let's take a different mirror. Let's see. Let's go with Slackware. What I get for picking the last mirror in the whole thing, huh? Princeton shouldn't let us down, should it? Mirror, Slackware. Utah's not too far from here. Let's try Utah. Okay. Okay, let's do this again. Is that oh, let's see. This is a different situation apparently. I just have to get out C true to this part apparently. I'm not sure about that. If you have a note on here, I need to be in C true to do that part. Well, I'm not resolving the hosts on these, so something's not right. Should be set up in here. And it's connected to the cable. So unless I just suddenly lost internet myself, which then the whole stream would be dead if it was. So that can't be the case either. Okay. 2 of them in a row, it's not likely 2 of them in a row would be bad. Temporary failure name resolution. Well, we can try one more and see if it's three strikes are out type thing, I guess. So they have anything to do right now. Unless y'all have any suggestions. Dropped the U. Okay. What are you saying drop the U on? Separate what you need to bind. No, you don't have internet, say true. But you have to have internet. Well, I just can't do this. Saw him do it. Well, Alexa didn't see it would work outside of that. Do we gotta enter in again apparently? So Slack. GPG. GNG maybe. It's in there, isn't it? No, that's why I got wrong. I was wrong in the wrong thing. I didn't like that either. Do it like that. You just spin up around. Okay. I don't think you need to be in Ctrl to do that too. Grab config. Really? Grab config, drop U. Okay, I'll check that. First I need to go back to Ctrl. I need to assume. No. Defaults. Oh, I see. I need to add a unit and save one. But I don't know if that would cause it to not do anything that way. Added units didn't take one out, but okay. I don't know that would solve my problem with the hosting. Maybe will. Who knows? But I'm not a guru guy actually, so that's always my out on that. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. You know, see if we can do anything there. Yeah, it says a hosting problem. Finding the field. I didn't have this problem last time for some reason. And I look at my notes. I have sparse notes on this, but It may be a mirror problem. It's not, apparently. 3 of them can't be a problem. So, well, at this stage, you do that, and then you do a Slack package update and update all the packages. You'll be good to go, pretty much. That's how it works. Why they're not doing, we can do it when we get to the side of it. We can always do the update afterwards. But, yeah. So, exit out of siege root. And then we will reboot. And we're going to grab a menu. Counting down 5 seconds. And we will go to this. It'll now It'll basically do a text install on the I mean not text install, but a text login on the console here. When you get finally down to it, there it is. Copple login. Rick. My password. I see I got Rick.Copple. So now, we're in here. Let's see. Now start the desktop environment. We can just get start X, and it'll start Plasma. Now we can do several things. This is wire connection activated, so hopefully that'll fix that problem we were having before. We can go back in the terminal and do that. But before we do that, we want to make this better resolution finally. Now that we're in a decent what do you call it? Yeah. System settings. And here. Display monitors. Okay. And the best one for me on this is the 1680-1050. Let me apply that. And leap. Now, we got that cooking good. So it's running well. Now we're going to go to our terminal. And we'll try that again. Now we know we have internet connected. Make sure that was active. So we're going to go to Slack package update, and what do you call this update? GPG. This doesn't find the command, so it's because you gotta be in root to do that. Okay, do it again. Okay. Sudo Slack package. Yeah, I found a lot of times even doing sudo in here doesn't really help you a lot sometimes. You have to actually be root to run some things. I don't know why I didn't want to set in password set for it, but he must have done something wrong twice in a row and now it's been wrong. But I can fix that later on. Let's see, Slack package. And update. See? What should be in root? Anyway, apparently I'm having problems with that. I can go to the other one and show you what it is in my other SFC desktop. Before we do that, we'll just show you what we got as far as what installed on here. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We need to go and set our system so it's not. Remember we set 150%? It made when I set screen resolution to full resolution, now part of our screen is all off, so that's why you see I press on the wing key, you get the top part of the menu bar pop up. because the screen's so big. So you have to go down here and see it and all this kind of stuff. So we're not going to do that. We're going to go log out of this thing. And we're going to shut it down so we can work it out. Plus, we still need to set it up so you know what to do if you need to have the file, have it boot up automatically in your display manager. Okay. So we need to go here, display, set this back 150% to 100%. Okay. Now while we're doing this, we're going to show you how to see it defaulted to that kernel, which that's what we used last time. So now we're going to go in here. Let's say, we want huge or we want generic. We'll go to generic kernel. We'll install that one. And didn't miss my password. Seems like I remember doing this before though. Missed my password for the root user for some reason. Don't know what happened there, but anyway. And start. Yeah, now here you need to edit you need to go nano. And see, this is why I made it so big, because now it's hard to read and see what you're doing there. But I'll see what I'm doing here. So nano and etc and init tab. Yeah. What you need to do is you need to go down here to default. Right here. Except I think, did I put sudo in front of this? I don't think I did. No, I didn't put sudo in front of it. It's not going to work if I don't put sudo in front of it. Show that. Okay. Now, like I say, you come out here and change this 3 to a 4. Next time you boot into it, it'll boot up on reboot into it. It'll boot up and it'll log in your manager pretty much like a straight off the bat. So save that, exit, and now reboot. Sudo reboot. Command not found. Crazy person, start X. One way to kill this cat, I guess. Okay. Now you see we're almost all this because it's not full screen actually. And maximize that full screen. Husky. And there, that looks better than it. You know, MX Linux stuff borrows top. Now we will go to, we're doing reboot. Restart. Okay. Now, when it restarts, not only will it log into our display manager automatically and boot up into that so you can log into your system, but it should go take us back to generic kernel if we did all of those stuff correctly. Thank you, Peter, for noticing that. So yeah. No, it didn't do it. Yeah, well, I looked at it twice, probably somewhere in there for it to work. Normally it should default to generic kernel. It didn't seem to do that. Ta-da! No display manager. Who's doing that wrong? And there we are. Now, I'll show you what's I can show you on the XFC desktop where I did it all correctly and I did it right. So, I'm not sure what we did wrong there, but anyway, it's easy to skip a step or forget something and forgot to write down, that kind of thing. And so, probably did some along those lines. Sue. Maybe Peter, I'm not sure. Sue dash, I'll try it and see, but I think it's the same thing basically. No, I think what I did was I tapped it in wrong twice in a row or something. Didn't think I did, but maybe I did. Maybe I had cap lock keys on at the time. Maybe that was the problem. Yeah, that's what it was. I had my cap lock keys at the time when I did that. So that was it. Anyway, let's see. We were trying to run that, so Slack package. Update. GPG. There you go. That's simpler, wasn't it? Duh. So, yeah, if I remember my root, some of these commands on here, you have to run from root. You can't run it from anything else, from any user. Even under sudo, it's just kind of strange. It's not like that in any other system I've tried. So, differences and things, I guess. So then you do Slack package, update, and it'll update your system. And that's it. That's all the updates had since it's pretty recent. So I guess it's not really a rolling release, is this? I'm not sure. It has some updated kernels and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, we have 5.15.19, which is pretty up-to-date kernel, which actually will run on this framework laptop. I know 5.14 works for this framework laptop, but it doesn't work for Bluetooth. I don't know if 5.15 would fix Bluetooth issue like 5.16 did or not, so who knows, but yeah, so that's the deal there. And then we have to I'm in root here. Then I think I'll get. Yeah, I think I'll right here I'm going to do what? Oh yeah, I'm going to reset my password. So the password. And essentially now exit Sue and right. There you go. Now it works like I expected it to. First time. Simple thing to kill you sometimes. So that's that. And exit. And now we can go down here. We can see what we got installed on this puppy. Yeah, under development. You can see I installed quite a bit of stuff here. Joe's own editor for your editor. And then you got Joe's own editor with Emacs emulation, with Nano Pico emulation, with WordStar emulation. Interesting. And you got Icon Browser, Glade Interface Designer, GT Demo, Data Display Debugger, Cutefish, Cuttlefish that is, Cuttlefish, Icon Viewer, and Cervest and all that stuff. And so you got plenty of things out here. Now some of these are going to be your standard KDE stuff like all this K stuff, K develop, K Apple app template, and K map distro, K UI viewer, and education. You got still a lot of stuff there. K algebra, K algebra mobile, KD marble. A lot of K stuff there. Games, you got quite a few games there listed. Hey, I told him not to install games. It did anyway. So graphics. And you get Krita. It's one I use frequently. Certain functions. WinView for your icon image viewer. Yeah, GIMP is image editor. And internet, you have Falcon, Firefox, Hex, Chat, Internet Radio, KD Connect, which is cool. All that good stuff, all the KD stuff. And Falcon there, I never really used that as a web browser permanently. I know I played with it around with it a couple of times, but other than that, I don't know much about it. But it's a pretty good browser, I think. Certain things it won't do or can do. There's Kden Live. I use Shotcut myself, so I have to reinstall Shotcut somehow in here. Office here, they have Office stuff. And yeah, you got all these functions in here. I'm not sure what word processor uses, but Ocular is document viewer. And I think, I don't remember, but I don't know if I told it to install all the stuff other than standard settings. That's all your case settings, post-bop control, system settings, all that kind of stuff. A screensaver, and your system console, K-wallet, H-top, G-parted, that kind of thing. So what is it's running on here? 373 megabytes out of 4 gigs of data. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Now I got, they leave it, you might have seen that I downloaded earlier. That's like for old laptops that run on real old machines, like my mom's old Dell 3100. And it had, when I got it installed, it had 140 megabytes with an Enlightenment desktop on it. Not too bad, huh? Yeah, it says minimum amount that you have to have on the machine is 190 something megs of memory, which it had 500 megs of memory, so that's good. So, yeah, so you get that's cooking. And so that's KDE, and you want to take a peek over there at the XFCE, where I know I have the kernel working right. Yeah, I did something wrong there on entered something incorrectly or whatever. Shut this down. Okay. Up here to Slackware Linux. This is XFC I installed earlier. And take a peek at that if you want. This one should default to the, see its advanced options. You click that, it's generic. So I set that one up correctly. I don't know what I did wrong in there. I entered some letter off. I put the U in, so I don't know what happened there. You said I'd take U out, but I had to put U in. Something like that. So, anyway. And here's what your XFC desktop looks like. Da, 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 da. Someday. Yeah, this I saw with Lilo, which is why it came up with this weird welcome to client host deal. Not sure what window manager this is or what I installed in it exactly. Supposed to do this. It works though. Okay, there's your XFC, pretty standard vanilla XFC desktop. You can install Whisker menu and replace application menu with it if you want. You can do whatever you want with this. It's pretty easy to configure XFC actually. And it has all these, I don't know if you can see this very good from there, but there's all settings and stuff it has, a lot of settings, power management, text editor settings, window manager tweaks, workspaces, all that kind of stuff. It's got a lot of stuff actually. And accessories, application finder, I think I installed this, added in a keyboard directory so you can pull that up easier. Application finder. And development and education and games. So this one didn't install a lot of games on it. Graphics and internet. And this installed more what I asked it to install. Multimedia. System. And everybody XFC. And log out, of course. So there's not much else to look at on this thing. Everybody knows what FC looks like, and that installs basically the standard stuff plus a few things I had to install in addition, but it did install. That's weird. The Katie Plasma one installed so many games on it, I clicked that off. Did not install any games. I don't know what happened with that. So anyway, let's go back and we'll have a chat more about it. And yeah, so how's everybody doing out there? Peter's crashing out. Good night, Peter. And yeah, I'm just gonna give my opinion on it, my thoughts about it. Not Peter's gone. No, but my thought about it is that Slackware is pretty good distribution. It's fairly solid, fairly stable, but it requires a lot of maintenance. I mean, you have to know what you're doing. This is definitely, if Void was a new Linux user distro, this is by far not a new Linux user distro. You don't want to start with this one if you're out there, you run across this video and you think to yourself, I want to install something on there. Unless you're really technically minded and want to really dig into the guts of Linux, I wouldn't install this. This would be my first choice to install for a new Linux user. But if you're an experienced Linux user and you want to tinker and you have the time to do so and that kind of thing, really fiddle with yourself, good night, Eris, then you probably would want to maybe be a good distro for you. I mean, you have to know you install the dependencies yourself. There's certain programs you can get to help with that and stuff like that. Didn't really get into this there, but yeah, it's been 2 hours, so not much time left for that kind of thing. So I still have to learn a lot more about it myself personally. Slack packages is different, but it's workable. If you all you want to do is install a system and use it and update it, I've given you all the information you do right there. If you want to tweak it and install it, then over time you could probably learn it. But it'll install all the stuff you need for it, full install. So you don't have to worry about later on coming back and doing all the installation things, dependencies, things like that. So I can see where this could have a certain niche if you just want to install it and use a vanilla desktop. But if yeah, I think it'd be personally for me, I don't have the time to mess with it that much. I got a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of things going on. I have a book that I intend to get out in January, and now it's March already, and I haven't put that out yet either, so I haven't even got to that. So, yeah. There you go. That's my situation. I could use Slackware, but I could learn it. Take the time. If I had the time, I could learn it, that kind of stuff. And people like Peter who have the time enjoys that kind of thing more. Yeah, so if you really enjoy digging into distros, this would be a good one for you. If not, probably not a good distro for you. So, yeah, it's going to appeal to some people, not to others, basically. So, that's my thoughts on it. And I'll probably stick with MX Linux on my laptop here, my framework, and I'm not big distro hopping right now. I mean, I have my distro hopping machine, but only distro hopping so I can do these videos and stuff like that, or virtual machine distro hopping, that kind of thing. But I'm not gonna do distro hopping on my computers. Once I set them up, I like to get them set up and that kind of thing until a year at least has gone by or something like that. I might think about it then. Well, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do that on these machines, especially this one. So there you go. Yeah, it took me a while to find MX Linux and to install it on here. It works good. It's Debian based, so it's stable. Same time, I got up-to-date kernels, that kind of thing, because I installed the Oz, as they call it. And that's my situation with that. So we'll see. Got people crashing out on me, so I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. I won't be at the Linux Saloon this week because I'm going to be at a retreat. So probably won't see most of you until next Wednesday night where we'll be doing something, whatever they decide to do on there. Doing an application or something like that. It's kind of hard to fill in enough time for an application unless it's a big install type thing or something like that. But we'll see what we're gonna do, and I'll announce it later on the Telegram and when I post it on the YouTube. Till then, may the Linux force be with you. Bye.